Welcome to the pop-up. You didn't expect to have a show today, did ya? I gotcha. But I realized after Tuesday, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a 3-day weekend. I didn't even schedule DNA because I knew I was gonna be in these streets. So I decided to give you guys something today, so you would have, at least something because you have to admit, looking at the advice column for the last, I don't know how many years, there's a theme. There's a certain kind of pattern, shall we say, that the women have that write in, and to me, it all boils down to they accept a ridiculous, I mean, unbelievable amount of disrespect from the men in their lives, sometimes from their female friends and stuff too. It's just unbelievable to me that people, and then, they doubt themselves. We've talked about this before, how, they will write, and in their letter, they're being hurt, they're being disrespected, they're being manipulated, controlled, verbally, emotionally, physically abused in different ways. And over and over, they ask, like, well, am I wrong to think this way? Am I wrong to feel that they shouldn't be doing this to me? So it's like they're doubting their very perception that is warning them that this is a red flag, that this person is doing them wrong, that they should not be accepting this kind of behavior from anyone. But they seem like they're confused and they don't know what to do. You know, excuse me, if this is something that they should, that they should be okay with or not. And I find that just plain shocking. I don't even know what to say. Let me get a swig. I've been running my mouth all day. I guess my throat is finally like, look here, chick. You done said enough. But I did, I thought that this was a very important kind of foundational issue. I've touched on it in many different ways. What did I just see? Oh, thank you, Princess. I've touched on it in a variety of ways, and I've, dozens of videos have addressed it, but I don't recall, not saying I didn't, I just don't remember, talking about this one aspect of relationships and relationship behavior in detail. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about disrespect. You're afraid to be alone. I think that's a lot of it, but you have to ask yourself, and I really don't, I can't answer this for these women. It's something they have to answer themselves. Is it, you feel bad, you cry, you feel abused, you feel lonely in your relationship, you feel doubtful, you feel confused, you feel a host of negative things. So you would rather feel all of that than be single and hang out with your friends and just do stuff that you want to do when you want to do it. Somehow that seems like a nightmare to you versus being in this quote relationship with somebody that's dogging your behind out endlessly. Are you for real? But, I mean, this is just me talking. This is my thought because I would rather be by myself forever than have to deal with that kind of behavior towards me, because you guys don't realize, I'm going to go through some behaviors that actually happen. These are just the ones I thought of today because this idea for this show happened I think I thought about it about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then around 4, I wrote Lady Boss and I said, hey, I'm going to do a kind of a pop up, but it's not exactly a pop up because I'm going to give them a, hour or so notice. But, this is just off the top of my head, and I made some notes, and we'll see what vibes with you, what you may have experienced in your own relationships, so that you can stop treating yourself like this and stop letting other people treat you like this. All this stuff does is chip away at your self-esteem. It makes you feel like garbage. It makes you feel like you're not worth anything, and you hanging on to this piece of a man in this raggedy ass piece of relationship because you don't want to be alone. So when we talk, we listen to this, and keep in mind now, I'm not gonna be calling no names. This is like you don't have to admit that this is you or anything. We're not. That's not the point. This is for you to do a self-assessment, okay? And there's gonna be a lot of information here, so feel free to go back and listen to it again. But the main point that I want you to take away from this today is that these behaviors that you may not recognize as being disrespectful are very much so. And I'm going to tell you something. If you, as a woman, do not respect yourself, you cannot expect a man to respect you. It's already bad enough when you do respect yourself. They're going to try you, they're going to test you. I wrote about that before. It's called the hoe test. Then it's the articles up on surviving dating. I think I did a video about it too. But men will test you, and they're going to test you to see if you cool or if you they can slide you over into the jump off category because you have what did Ludacris call it? Hoe tendencies. Okay, you have hoe tendencies. Thank you. I just, this is just very important to me. So I really want you guys to, this part of leveling up, they call it, this big old thing, pound level up. Part of it is not just what the man that you get, is how you treat yourself. That's the number one place where you need to level up first before you go looking for anybody that's, that you think is gonna better your life or whatever. You have to do that. You're responsible for bettering your life first. And then the way that you carry yourself, the way you conduct yourself in the world, you will automatically kind of, I mean, it acts like a raid against a lot of dusties because they can see that you out of their league. You won't even get in the time of day. There's nothing they can do for you. They can't even talk to you, and your attitude projects that. Now, like I said, there's going to be some that's going to still try it because they want to bring you off that pedestal that they think you have yourself on. So don't think just because you look a certain way and carry yourself a certain way, that's going to make you like dusty proof. That's not the case, but it will repel a lot more of them than a lot of you seem to be able to fend off by yourself. So let's start by defining what respect/disrespect is. Disrespect is a lack of respect, which is kind of redundant, esteem or courteous regard. It means that somebody shows you a lack of regard, consideration, politeness, those kind of things. They're not showing you that kind of attitude at all. It's a manifestation of disesteem. That means that they're trying to find a way to crack you, to break you, to totally make your self-esteem fall into the toilet like a poop. Okay? That's what they're trying to do. And what you is defined as a lack of respect or courtesy for another person. It can be intentional, which is what we're going to be talking about. Sometimes it's accidental, but and unintentional. And if you have that kind of thing in a relationship, usually, that happens so far and few between. You two talk it out. You'd be like, look here, son. I didn't like when you said this and that, or you did this and that, or you treated me this and that. And a man who really loves and respects you is going to be very apologetic. Babe, I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. I apologize. I mean, he's going to be like all embarrassed and feel bad that he treated you that way and stuff. Okay, that kind of stuff you can get over because that man definitely does respect you and he did not mean to do that. So he corrects his behavior, y'all go on. That's not what I'm talking about though. I'm talking about the men that you have in your lives that repeatedly and intentionally disrespect you. And every time, what you don't even realize is every time you accept that nonsense, he's going to push the envelope and disrespect you more often and in worse ways. Why? Because he can. It's just that simple. Now, does that make him a right kind of dude? I never said that. It makes him trash to think that that's what he should do and that you have to, put a stop to it. But that's human nature. People gonna do what you let them do as far as that goes. If it's a person of integrity and responsibility and accountability and who views others as with respect, they would never do those kinds of things. So if you have somebody who's doing this stuff to you, they're automatically trash. Okay, they're a trash person. But so many of you try to take your trash and make it into gold, and you let these guys, what another part of the disrespect is, they blame you and make you responsible for their behavior towards you. So they'll say things like, thank you, Robin. They'll say things like, well, she let me. Well, she didn't make me. What are you, 3? See, so that's when those kind of words come out of a dude's mouth. He's trash. He's trash. Don't, just get rid of him. Get rid of him the first time he says something like that to you. But let me start on my list because I could be preaching, honey. I could be preaching on this because, like I said, when I thought about all the letters that we've been going over in What the Fuck Tuesday for the last couple of years, because that's how long I've been doing that show, the overriding theme of all the women's letters is these men are totally disrespecting them, and the women are staying in the relationship and taking it. It's just too much. So let's go and talk about this. What kinds of behaviors constitute disrespect? Let us go into my list. I also am going to augment my list with some examples, some advice letters. I just went and found them on the internet because they're not my letters, but we've heard enough of mine, so you already know how to relate. Okay, let's talk number 1. He is critical and condescending. He will say nasty things about what you think, about your feelings, about your hobbies, about your interests, about your education, about your goals, about your family, about your friends, about your job, how much money you make, anything that you own, do, wear, anything. Anything is open season, right? Especially your opinions and your thoughts and your belief systems. He plus on top of that, he always thinks he's right. He thinks he knows every damn thing. Nobody in the world knows more than him, has more better than him, has better accomplishments than him. He's always trying to one up people, especially you. Okay, whatever you do, it is never going to match what he did. All right. You always at blame. Everything that goes wrong is your fault. He's never responsible for anything, including himself. So you are filled with guilt. You're confused. Well, how is that my fault? You actually sit there wasting time wondering instead of cussing him out and getting rid of him. You sit there and you internalize his criticisms as if they have validity. You know, you don't do that. You don't do that. To you, anything that you say, like they do this a lot online, right? If women say, when men street harass us, is hurtful, it's damaging. When men put their hands on us when we didn't ask them to, it's humiliating, it's embarrassing. We don't like it. Well, I don't see what's the big deal is. You women always talking about people harassing you and stuff. I've never seen that. So to him, he invalidates your experiences. They invalidate women's feelings. They invalidate anything that we have to say about our experiences as women because they haven't experienced it. They haven't had menstrual cramps. Oh, you overstating it. You don't know. They haven't had a labor pain. Oh, you just making something out of nothing. So you see what I mean? It's constant invalidation and condescending comments about your reality and what you want for yourself. And instead of cussing him out and, like I said, getting rid of him, you want to, try, well, how can I make him understand? How can I prove to him that this is real? You don't prove nothing. You don't have to. Your reality is your reality, and that's good enough. He don't like it. He don't want to accept it. Well, that's his red wagon. I'm trying to watch my language this particular show, so I'm going to be very careful about what I say. But you all know what I'm thinking because you know me by now, right? Most of y'all been around here 5, 6 years. You know. All you got to do is go into your mental Rolodex. What would Deb do? And you already know the answer to that question. Okay. And a lot of them, they do this little, snarky kind of like kind of thing, where you already know, even if he doesn't say a word. He's his attitude about what you're saying or what you want to do and stuff is very condescending. So just by that alone, he makes you feel small and insignificant and unworthy. And they don't always have to say a word. They don't always have to say words. It's their attitude towards you. Okay? And they make you feel like a fool too. So let's move on. That was all point 1. Number 2. Where's my letter? Okay. This letter here is one that illustrates point number one and another point, point four as well. We've been together for 10 years. The relationship has generally been good, though there are issues. There's no domestic violence or abuse. We have 2 kids together. We're generally happy. The problem we have is about communication. Somewhere along the way, we have completely lost our ability to communicate. It's like he doesn't take me seriously anymore, and it's really getting me down. Anytime I address something, if I'm trying to explain something to him, random or important, he talks over me all the time, she says. He doesn't let me finish. He cuts me off. He rarely acknowledges that I'm speaking sometimes. I've tried I have tried it all. I've called him out on it when he does it. I get angry. I stay calm. I hold a grudge. I let it go. I talk to him about it the day after he says he's sorry, but it doesn't change. It leaves me feeling unheard and dismissed and like I can't discuss anything that might be remotely uncomfortable to him because what's the fucking point? Any suggestions? Yeah, get rid of him. Now, if somebody was teasing me the other day saying, Deb's advice column, her answer is usually get rid of them. Well, isn't that the right answer? Why are you going to be putting yourself through all these changes and be dealing with something like that that hurts you emotionally and evidently mentally too? I don't know about the rest of y'all, but Deb loves Deb more than anything or anybody in this world. Okay, so any threat to that, to me, and feeling good about me, you gotta go. And I don't care who you are, you gotta go. Okay, so that was just an example that I wanted to have to illustrate, some of these points I'm making. Just also illustrates the number 3 point, verbal disrespect, but I'll get to that in a minute. Number 2, physical disrespect. These include things like inappropriate or unwanted touches. This can come often from strangers, or you in a club or party or something. They disrespect you by putting their hands on your body when you didn't ask them to. That's when you wish you knew karate or something. You could Bruce Lee them and fly them across the room. They be paying attention to somebody else when they're with you. So just leaving you standing there by yourself, disrespect. They attempt to prevent you from going where you're trying to go by blocking your path or exit from a room or vehicle. Pulling your arm, standing in front of you, blocking you, you know, blocking the door, pinning you in, trying to make you do something you didn't want to do. That's coercion. They demand intimacy even when you're sick, even when you just had a baby, even when you just had surgery, you're in pain from some kind of injury. Whatever it is that's holding you from preventing you from giving him what he wants, to him it's irrelevant. You need to give me what I want, and it doesn't matter if it hurts you, if it's unsafe for you to do. That's irrelevant. What about me? That's all they care about. And there are men who, of course, take it to the next level, and they want to beat you up. They want to stalk you. They want to shoot at you and all these kind of things. I mean, it could end in black eyes and broken bones, but it could also end in hospitalization and possibly even death. So that is, to me, the utmost in disrespect. Number 3, as illustrated in that letter, verbal disrespect. Not only does he not listen to you, they won't talk to you either. He avoids you sometimes. You have something important to talk to him, you don't want to hear it. He's going to watch TV. He's going to play video games. He's going to turn his TV up really, really loud. He's going to put on his headphones. He'll just walk out the door. Whatever it is, he's communicating clearly. I'm not trying to hear what you're talking about. What you're talking about is not important. Others will order you around like you a slave. Do this, do that, get me this. You ain't never blah, blah, blah. So you hop around trying to please him. They will call you names. They'll mock you like a 5-year-old. You do something, oh, yeah, 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 that kind of thing where they mock you. He'll raise his voice at you like you being like a little kid getting scolded by his parent or something. He uses profanity, not just in general, but directed at you. Anytime it's like you isn't put in front of it, followed by some profane words, that means you're getting cussed out by the man who's supposed to love you. When you're talking to somebody, they will talk over you. They'll cut you off and interrupt you so you never get to finish whatever it was you were trying to say. They lie to manipulate you. They gaslight you. He talks down to you and repeatedly points out your mistakes or your perceived mistakes and imperfections in his eyes. His number one goal seems to be to make you doubt yourself and to crush any self esteem that you may have. When they crush your self esteem, what they're really trying to do is make you more controllable. The women who have low self esteem are do as they're told. They don't fight back, they don't have any fight in them. That's what he wants. Okay? Here's another example of someone who is in, verbal disrespect. I've been dating my guy for 6 months. He's pretty nice. We're both stuck in this pandemic away from our families. He comes to visit me every weekend. We're planning to move in together soon. He wants to. I'm not so sure. It just feels like it's too soon, but he's so excited at the prospect of planning our time together and making me do workouts with him, okay? The problem lies in his behavior when we're cooking together. Sometimes he'll just take a deep breath and get in my face and snarl. Just fucking get on with it. Like he's really angry. And then when I express that I'm worried about this behavior, I'm not sure if he's joking, he just laughs to himself. The other day, we messed up a recipe and he got so mad that he threw a fork in the sink. It reminded me of past abuses from my brother who has a volatile personality. And I started panicking quite badly. He didn't apologize or try to console me. My biggest worry is that I'll meet someone who just turn around and backhand me in the face. And I won't know any better because I would justify it by being that I was oversensitive or psycho. However, it does mean that I read too much into things. Like my ex-partner was a super nice guy, but he used to have eggplant with me when I said no. But like, did he really? Or am I playing the victim role? See what I mean? Questioning themselves and their perceptions. I guess my question is, from an outsider perspective, what would you do in this situation? What would you advise to be done? What would be my answer? What would Deb do? Leave him. This is the you only been dealing with dudes for 6 months, and this is how he's treating you already? Surely you don't see this improving and going the other way. When men first get you, that's when they're at their best. That's when they usually are being Mr. Perfect. This guy's already showing that he's a jerk and an asshole, and you asking me what you should do? And you already have a history of dealing with abusive, crazy men? Girlfriend. So anyway, this is the same advice for any of you who might be experiencing something along these lines. It's the same thing. You don't stay with the man like that. You don't reward him with your love and your body and your time and your cooking and all the other things that you give to the man that you care about. He doesn't deserve that. That's why I say leave. You make it seem like, well, she don't want nobody to have a relationship. That's not it. I want you to have a relationship. I want you to have a good relationship, one that is healthy and that has respect. Okay, so when I say you write me a letter like this and I tell you to leave him, I'm telling you that because what you're seeing and what's happening to you is hurting you. So don't be looking at it all like brand new, like, well, you just want me to be single. That's a dumb bitch kind of comment. Okay, now if you want to be with some sucker that's using you up and messing you over, then don't involve me in it. Just go do what you want to do. But if you write me for advice and then I tell you how this person's hurting you and then you want to get all brand new about it, no. No. See, that's the kind of shit that will get you cussed out. And I don't care. I'll cuss you out right on this video. I gives no fucks. But, you're going to waste my time and ask me what you should do, and then I tell you for your own health. For your own mental and emotional health. This whole channel is about trying to make women find their best and be their best selves. And sometimes that means you have to leave a man who's not trying to help you do that. You got to leave him behind. That's just what that means. He's dead weight. He's dragging you down. Now, you might not be able to see that because you're on the inside, but I do. So I just wanted to say that too, because I noticed that, coming up a couple of times in the chat streams recently. And I wanted to address it because I didn't see it, of course, after the show was over. And I was reviewing it and I'm reading the chat stream. I'm like, look at these little bitches. Tell up here saying this silly shit. I know, Lady Boss, you probably didn't catch it, but, it was just one of them things. But, yes, I had to say that. Now, let's move on and talk about point number 4, what I call technological disrespect. Because, in the 50s and 60s, we didn't have the technology that we have now. So there's a whole new way for people to show you disrespect that didn't exist in 1988. You know what I mean? But now it does. And so let's talk about that. These are people that want to demand the passwords to your social media account or your phone so they can scroll through whenever they get ready. Check who you've been calling, who you've been texting, reading all your stuff, checking up on you, who's in your contacts list, that kind of stuff. Some of them go so far as to delete people that they don't like so you know you can't call them. Or they block the number. You wonder why you can't hear, you haven't heard from so and so for so long, and then come to see that they've been in your phone and blocked them. Yeah. Um, they go through your email. They go through your computer. All these things without your consent, just snooping, just seeing, what you doing. They make and sometimes receive suspect calls or texts if they deleting stuff, right? They have stuff stored in people's names. Things then, they people, stuff known, stored in their phone under code names. I knew a dude, he had like 6 phones. What you need 6 phones for? You know that's some shenanigans going on. I just looked at him because I'm like, this you on some bullshit. Ain't nobody trying to get hooked up with you. Not on that level. You don't know what's to come on now. Um, they pretend to be single when they're married or in some other kind of relationship that has a alleged commitment, right? They use fake names, fake emails. They have memberships to dating sites and they're in a relationship. They have online relationships that are totally inappropriate. They call it emotional affairs. Or sometimes you have a guy who's like, hitting on teenagers and stuff. Totally inappropriate behavior. Um, they send, text, and post inappropriate photos of themselves, which is, violation of the relationship. In the same vein, they will ignore your calls and text sometimes for hours, sometimes, till the next day, just keeping you on hold. Here you are all anxious and waiting for a response from him that just doesn't come. And that's just, that's how they use technology anyway to disrespect you, which, like I said, then I don't even talk about the people that disrespect you on social media that you don't even know. We're trying to limit this to relationships. But then you got them clowns that want to slide into your DM with all kind of, D pics and all kind of inappropriate comments and all kind of stuff like that. That's a whole different bag of tricks, but that is also very disrespectful. Number 5, invasion of your privacy, disrespect. These are the dudes that want to go through your drawers, go through your closets, go through your pockets, go through your purses, go through boxes that you have stored in the basement and the attic. They read your diary or your journal without your permission. They demand a key to your house so they can come and go and snoop without you being there. They won't leave if you ask them to. Somehow it seems like he just kind of moved in without you even knowing what happens. He got a couple of clothes. Now he got a whole drawer that he got, stuff hanging in your closet, toothbrush, all kind of stuff. The dude done moved in. He don't never go home. You didn't ask him to move in, but somehow it just kind of happened, right? He demands to know where you are and what you're doing every second of every day. He feels like you must report in at every turn, like you're a kid to the parent. He want to go everywhere you go, even to girls' night or lunch with a bunch of women. And we've talked about that. They don't want to let you out of their sight. They are just fucking just like, ugh. But it's like it's a total invasion of your privacy and your autonomy as a separate person from him. Like globs onto you and just will not let go like the dang coronavirus with them little hooks. That's how he is, like a Rona, all over you and all up in your life. Number 6, disrespect of your personal property. What you own or what you want to do, because what you own is also inclusive of your dreams and your goals, your plans, this kind of stuff. He disrespects all of that. He has no problem damaging, breaking, losing, totaling the things that you own. You worked very hard to get those things. He just treats it like shit, like, well, what you want me to do? So what, I crashed your car and totaled it out. Get another one. So what, that was a ring that your grandmother gave you. I don't know what happened to it. I lost it, I guess. I don't know. Stuff like that. And he just shows no concern and no regard for it. And, the idea that you upset about it to him is like, what? What? It's just a ring. It's just a car. Well, why did you have your own then? See, that's why you should never, ever, ever let a man drive your car. I don't let nobody drive my car. I don't care who you are. If you had you had some money, go rent a car. If you don't have no money, then that means you can't pay me if you jack up my stuff. So guess what? You ain't getting behind the wheel of my car. That's just how it is. You need to go somewhere, give me some money, and I'll drive you there. Or you could take an Uber. I don't care what you do. You can walk, skateboard, fly. I don't care. But you gotta go drive my car where you trying to go. That's not gonna happen. So, another thing that these dudes, they're very nonchalant about it, about the emotional and financial devastation that they wreck in your life. And that includes they wreck up your credit, your household, your car, your reputation, and your other relationships with both friends and family. Sometimes they even go and involve your job in it, calling your job repeatedly, having people, putting you on notice, on warning and stuff because you're disrupting the work, because this fool keeps on harassing you, calling around to your coworkers and your boss and stuff, asking them where you are, all the stuff. People have lost jobs behind their husbands and boyfriends doing that kind of stuff because it freaks out the other coworkers and the employer. They feeling like you're a risk. You're going to have somebody coming up in there shooting up the place because they mad at you. They ain't trying to have, their other staff members injured or killed behind your behind. So guess what? The easiest solution is to get rid of you. So I'm telling you, you got this kind of dude, you better leave him alone. I'm telling you all the warning signs now so you can get out early before it comes to that. All right? Now let's talk about number 7. Isolation. This is a type of disrespect where they try to keep you from going places, being around certain kinds of people. They just tell you flat out sometimes, nah, I don't like so and so. You can't go. You can't be with them. I don't like them. And you, like dummies, listen. I had one dude tell me that, what I told him? Fuck that, and you ain't my daddy. You don't tell me what to do, where I could go, what I do when I get there. You don't tell me nothing. You be happy for the time that I decide to spend with your crusty ass. Now, if that's something that you really feel strongly about, there's the door. You need to put yourself on the other side of it and stay out of my life, and definitely out of my business. So I don't take that. You get one time to say some crazy stuff like that. You could think it if you want to. I'm not telling you what to think. But once it leaves your little rubbery lizard lips and you tell me something like that and think that I'm going to listen and you giving me a royal command or something, oh boy, that's it. You out. You on the out. You know. You might be scared. Psh, you better get over it. That's the one thing they want to do is try to tell, you guys get scared. What you scared of? You ought to be more scared to be living your life in misery. Shit. Sitting up there scared about every damn thing. What kind of woman is scared of every damn thing? You better find you some fucking nuts and get you some courage up. If you that scared, take your ass to a self-defense class or get you a gun and learn how to shoot. You need to do something about that fear instead of let some men control you using your fear. Don't ever do that. You have too many options. You get your karate or judo on and flip a motherfucker a couple of times, bust his head on some cement. He'll be all right. You knock some sense into him. Better yet, get you a 38 and shoot him. I advocate the latter. Nothing like ventilating somebody to make them get a whole new understanding of who they better not fuck with. See, that's my thing. I'm like, pfft, you won't make me air condition your ass. Yeah, don't you be afraid, Ashley. Do not be afraid. You do something about your fear. That's what this channel is about. Empowerment. And the number one thing I hate in this world is for women to not do stuff to protect themselves and advocate for themselves because they say they're afraid to. That is the wrong thing to say to me. Okay? We don't do fear here. We do action. I'm not saying you can't feel it, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to do about it. Okay, you're not going to sit there cowering in fear. Not on this channel, you're not. You're not going to do that. You're going to get off your ass and you're going to do something about it. Because there's all kind of ways to handle your fear. Okay? You need some tips, you just write me. Now let's talk about, I didn't finish with the isolation. Some of these dudes try to prevent you even from getting an education, right? You want to go back to school. You want to get a better job. You want to work 2 jobs because you want to save money to do something for yourself or for the family or whatever. They don't want you to go to work because they don't want you to be around other men. They don't want you to go to school because they don't want you to be around other men. And then they tell you, well, this for your own good. I'll be the money maker. You making $15 an hour in some little Mickey Mouse salary in an environment that requires people to make $125,000 a year, and you think that's supposed to be okay? That we sit up here on food stamps in Section 8, and you calling yourself the breadwinner and the head of the household? You're a bum, sir. And if you need that kind of help, don't be too proud. Well, baby, I'm doing my best, but I can't do it by myself. Then you shut up. You sit your fat ass down and you let the woman help, raise up the kids and stuff and contribute financially as long as she's willing to do that. What you trying to stop her for? Make everybody live in poverty, wear hand-me-downs for goodwill and shit for your damn ego. Psh. I mean, that would just irk me to know none of my kids got to wear raggedy ass clothes because of your ego. I don't think so. I think we'll do better if I leave and get to go back to school and get the job that I want to have. That's what I'm thinking. So, you guys be careful with that. He's trying to keep you down and keep you from success and achievement and accomplishment. He's not in your corner. Recognize that for what it is. You sit up there talking about, oh, I have to submit. I'm going to submit. No, you don't submit. You bop him upside the head. We talked about that on Tuesday. You go into bop mode. We're not doing that. Okay, we're not gonna do it that way. Obviously, your leadership is faulty, and so I'm gonna take over, and this is what we're gonna do. I'm just like, these men are just out of control. Y'all can't be letting them run you like that. They don't have. The tool set to do that. They need supervision, and that's where you come in. You don't let them run nothing. They're incompetent, 95% of them. That 5% that's got their shit together, well, they're already married, so they're off limits. We got to work with what's left. And that means, you can't, you don't let them get away with not one trick. Number 8, this is an important one. This happens a lot. Boundary disrespect. Now, this is an example of behavior that's disrespectful to another person is when you pressure them. You try to pressure them into doing something that you don't want to do. Let me give you an example. This young lady's letter. One day, okay, she's talking about her sister, who she's calling B, the sister's husband, who she's calling C, her boyfriend, who she's calling A. Okay, so the boyfriend's A, the sister's B, the sister's husband is C. They're all in their mid-20s. So she says they went on vacation together. And one day, C, that's the husband, asked everybody to go for a walk, but she was the only one who wasn't too tired. And so she joined him, right? He started asking questions about my eggplant life, which I answered, stupid, not thinking too much about it, referring back to my boyfriend or to his wife. See, that was a boundary violation right there. Him asking her that she's supposed to shut that down and say, no, that's none of your business. Let me head back to the house because I can see you on some bullshit. That's what she was supposed to say, and then turn around and go back to the house. But that's not what she did, so let's continue. Eventually, he admitted that he was attracted to me and wanted to have eggplant with me. This is his sister's brother's girlfriend. The sister's is like that's his potential brother-in-law's girlfriend, potential brother-in-law's wife if they stay together. Okay. I was dumbfounded, but I just sat there and laughed awkwardly. I told him he was an attractive guy, but that just wasn't who I was. I didn't want to make him feel like shit. Once again, worried about him. So I said in nicer words that I was attracted to A, my boyfriend, and I shut my brain off to other dudes. I brought up A whenever I could. I know I was an idiot. I should have blatantly said it was wrong, but it was a few days into over a week, and I didn't want things to blow up. His wife, B, has been going through a lot of crap lately, loss of family, jobs, etc. On the way back, I tried to talk about how fucked up it was over being cheated and how I could never do it, never mind to the love of my life. When he kept bringing it back to us fooling around, I asked if he had done this before, and I got the feeling that he doesn't understand the lines of cheating. I left the situation, attempted not to be alone with him while keeping him from my partner and his sister, another dummy move. After sleeping on it, the guilt was eating me alive, and I confided in my partner, who was unsurprisingly pissed off. I begged him not to say anything while we were so early into the trip, and he agreed because he wants his sister to enjoy herself. A, the boyfriend, wants to take him aside and say something on the last day of the trip, which I think is better than doing over text. We don't see so often after this. It will only be able to be done over text. How should A approach it? We don't know if the sister should know. It will be a high emotion situation. But see, she made a lot of mistakes there with boundaries. But the number one was, dude violated her boundaries of her relationship and her privacy and everything else. Total disrespect of her. And she, being young, she trying to quote be nice, and she didn't shut that down firmly, decisively, with some strong language, and removing herself physically from the situation. So that is what I advise if you guys are ever in a situation like that, especially if it's someone who is a spouse of someone that you don't give them any information. You don't respond to their questions. You shut that shit down and you go back to where there are other people and leave them by themselves. You do not continue to socialize with them alone. You don't do that. You're sending a mixed message that way. Your actions and your words must match. Okay? Be strong. Don't be afraid. See, she did everything that she did because she was afraid. She's afraid to, the sister wouldn't have a good time. She was afraid her boyfriend would be mad. She was afraid to tell him no because, he's a nice guy and this and that, all this other stuff, all these weak ass excuses that she had. The bottom line is this was a firm boundary, that violation. She should have told him no and shut it down immediately. So see, he was pressuring her because even after she said all that passive aggressive little nicety nice talk, he still kept asking. So he probably would have been happy to just do it right there in the bushes, you know. So there is a difference though between pressuring somebody and being persistent. You're single and someone says, well, I don't know, I can't go this weekend. Okay, well then you come back with, well, when are you available? Okay, that's persistence. Pressuring is if a woman tells you no, and then you keep saying, well, why? Come on, babe, let's go, let's do it. Okay, now you're pressuring. Okay, there's a big difference. When somebody tells you no and you keep bugging them about it anyway, trying to convince them that they should do what you want them to do, that's pressuring them, and it's a total disrespect to their boundaries. Most men will do this. They will do this. And y'all, eventually, too many of you will give in. That's why they do it, because they know that it works, because most women are weak. They ask you enough, you weak to your own damn kids. Your kids keep asking, mama, please, I want to go, I want to do it. Buy me this, buy me that. And instead of you said no, instead of you sticking to no, okay. That's the same shit you do with men, and that's what they're depending on. That you will eventually, if they ask you enough times and pressure you, that you will give in. Y'all need to learn how to say no and stick to it. With your kids, with your men, with your bosses, with everybody. No should be your favorite word. You should practice saying it in your sleep. Okay? No, hell no. What I look like, no. Bitch, no. No to the no, or however that little song goes that guy used to sing. I mean, you know what I mean? Practice saying no, get good at it. Okay? Make your face look the way that it's. No, what's wrong with you? I'm not doing that shit. You out your rabbit ass mind. Stuff like that. Practice in the mirror. You can watch some of my videos and just see the way I say no in my expressions. Mimic them. And then you will have, some tools. When you go out here in the world and you got to tell men no, you can just channel me. And it'll come flying out of your lips with force and dignity and beautiful and all kinds of stuff. Okay? Because I tell you, I'll tell somebody no in a second. So you got to realize when somebody keeps pressuring you like that, they're not listening to you. They're not respecting you. They're not paying no attention to what you want for yourself. They're focused on what they want from you. Okay, that's all they're thinking about. And you come afraid to say no because I want to be nice. You better say no and stop trying to be nice. You don't be nice to fools. You be nice to puppies, kittens, and old people. And sometimes not even them, because those old men are lecherous as hell. Dick ain't worked in 25 years, but here they are trying to get them a young piece, get them attention of some young woman. You got to think about it, though. Like if somebody really valued you and respected you and admired you and cared about you, would they pressure you like that? That's the answer to your question right there. You trying to worry about being nice to somebody who doesn't give a shit about you. Okay, they're focused on what they want from you. Stop being nice. Stop it. Just eliminate nice from your vocabulary. It has no place in our modern society where you're dealing with men. It has no place. Understand this. If he ain't showing you some kind of respect and mutual niceness and stuff and caring and support and all that kind of stuff, then you could be nice to him. That one guy. Okay. But in general, Most of them are just little bastards, and you don't want to be nice to them. It just encourages them to treat you like shit. Number 9, they're dismissive of you in body language and tone of voice. This happens a lot. Sometimes, it's not what they say, it's how they say it. Because communication takes place on many different levels. We have, body language, and then we have, voice, like tone of voice language. We have words, of course. And so when you put all those things together, someone could be saying words to you, but their expression and their body language and the tone of voice they're using to say those words will communicate a completely different message. You feeling me? That's what you have to pay attention to. It's not cool. So what they do is, so you're talking, right? And they're saying they're listening and they can't answer, but you see them rolling their eyes. What's that communicating? Or they say, like they wave you off like this. I had a boss that did that to me one time. Dog, I told him all about what he better not do. White dude, too. So, doing fan, I call it fanning. He fanned my, like what I was saying was so unimportant. He gonna fan it away. I was so mad I couldn't even talk to him for a week. I had to wait till I calmed down because he would have become every kind of motherfucker I could have thought of right in the office. That's how mad I was. He did his hand like this, and my temper went up to about 2,000. I stormed out of his office because I knew if I stayed in there one more second, I was going to cuss him out. And so I was sat at my desk and I sat there and I calmed down. It didn't take me a week to calm down. And finally I said, I need to talk to you. And he's like, oh, I could tell. What did I do wrong? I said something, and we're going to talk about it right now. So I told him about his little hand fan thing. I said, don't you ever treat me like that again. I will march out of here. That was so disrespectful and dismissive. I have never, nothing I've ever done would deserve that kind of treatment from you or anyone else. And I refuse to accept it. I want an apology. So he did. He was very embarrassed. I have to say he was very contrite, and he, was shocked that he had done that and all this stuff. But I'm thinking, you wasn't thinking. That's your innate nature. That's what you think about what I was telling you about. And if I'm telling you something that's important to me, motherfucker, you need to listen. Okay? You're not gonna fan your goddamn hand at me. He lost his fucking mind. So, you have men that treat you all that way, and they do it, and they might not wave their hand at you, but they roll their eyes, they turn their back to you, they walk off, they pick up their phone and start scrolling through it, they turn the TV up louder to drown you out. That kind of stuff is very dismissive, and it's very, it's just rude as hell. So what they're basically trying to do is invalidate you, and and what you're talking about. It's just basically communicating that what you're talking about and what you want from them, attention or whatever, is not going to be given, and they don't care. That's the shame. Now, what kind of relationship can you have with a man who doesn't care about what's bothering you or the information you want to share with him? A lot of being a couple is, you just come in at the day, you share details about your day while y'all make dinner or something. It's just like mundane little nothing, but it makes you two feel closer to each other because you're having an exchange and you're sharing your thoughts and feelings about what happened to you during the day. Okay, you got somebody who don't want to talk to you like that? He just want to watch TV and zone out? You can do that. Take your shit and leave and go zone out somewhere where nobody cares. Because that ain't here. So that's how you want to do it. You think that's how you're going to conduct a relationship. I have news for you, son. It don't work like that. Get out. Get the fuck out. Yeah, this was a surprise live. A surprise live. This was not on the agenda. I planned this show about 2:30, 3 o'clock today. Let's talk about threats. They have a lot of threats to leave, right? You approach your partner because you have an issue. You want it resolved. You want to talk about it. You want the relationship to progress and to build it, for you two to become closer. That's why you want to talk about it. He don't want to talk about it. All he just says, well, why don't we just break up then? Okay, which immediately shuts down, and that's designed to make you fearful of ever approaching him with a promise. So essentially, the relationship is all his, is one-sided. It's everything that he wants from you while you get nothing that you want from him, because every time you try to express what it is you want from him and need from him, he shuts it down by threatening you with the relationship. So what does that do? That threatens you, that teaches you not to say anything. that, he's always holding the relationship over your head. But see, that's when you say, well, you don't want to talk about it, get your shit and get the fuck out there. Because I'm not going to be in a relationship with one sided. I refuse to do that. What if there's no point in being in a relationship with somebody where my needs aren't getting met like yours are? What kind of bullshit you think you on, son? It ain't gonna work like that. You gonna give me what I need and I'll give you what you need. But you ain't gonna get shit from me not like this. So just get out. Get out. Make room for somebody who has better sense, because that ain't you. And then if he try to act stupid, shoot him. I just love bullets. I don't know. I just have something's wrong with me. I have a violent nature. I'm just saying. You want to be acting stupid, but you can't kid throw me out. No. Watch these bullets do it though. You're gonna be out of here. Your ass gonna be in a body bag. You keep it up. I don't have no problem with that. Some people be like, "Oh, I couldn't kill somebody." Why? I feel like if somebody's trying to hurt me, your ass is dead. Because when the police come, it's going to be one story told. It's going to be mine. Yeah. And then he did this and that and this here. And then I shot him. And they'll be like, oh, well, look at you. You're so short. Look at this big old dude. I could see why you were scared. I'm like, yes, officer. It was awful. It was terrible. I was so scared. But yeah, with certain things, you know how you just know there's certain things you're not going to take? That's one of them. You're not going to threaten me, and you're not going to try to put your hands on me. You're not going to get in my face. You're not going to do none of that. Stalking, all that kind of stuff, you're going to get shot. That's what's going to happen. So, and if not by me, by one of my relatives, because we all crazy. Now, okay, so now let's talk about this cultural disrespect. This is very prevalent in interracial and intercultural relationships, where people have come from different countries or whatever, because even if you're in the same race and you're in different social economic classes, you're going to have a different upbringing and a different kind of lifestyle, different expectations, different, your life is just going to have been different. So, you could have like some black person who was, raised in the hood, and you could have a black person who, is like in Jack and Jill and their parents are doctors or whatever. Okay, so yeah, they're both African American, but that's where the common ground ends there. So the person who was raised in society and went to debutante balls and Ivy League colleges and all this kind of stuff is going to have a different kind of different experience in life, different expectations than someone who was raised even in a middle class background or lower middle class or working class or whatever. Their experiences and their lifestyle are very different. Even the food that they eat is different. So you have something where somebody's going to be taunting and teasing you about the way that you were raised up. You think you so good. You so sedity. You snooty. You bougie. You so hood. You a hood rat. You eat stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. Your family's crazy. They play spades and Tonka stuff. Nobody golfs in your family. I'm just saying stuff, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. And you have people who will talk about other people's culture. Like, there's other people, certain people for religious or spiritual reasons, whatever, they don't eat pork. Some people don't eat meat, period. So then you got to, what's wrong with you? You don't, okay, this kind of stuff. So that's designed to show lack of tolerance and to put you down and try to make you feel bad about something about you that's different. If they cared, they could learn from it. You guys could share your experiences and learn and grow from each other instead of trying to put the other person down because they're not just like you. It's just ridiculous. They put down your family, they put down your traditions, they put down your language, they put down your food, they put down the music of your culture, or, they put down your religion. I used to have a dude, he used to listen to like white people music, the Beatles and shit, and he was black. And, I listened to like Jeffrey Osborne and Chaka Khan and stuff like that, and he used to call my musical choices Rudy Poot. What do you think that was designed to do? You know how many years ago that was? I still remember that because I cussed his ass out. And I was young then. I was like still in high school. But it was like, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to put down anything that I like, any choices that I make for myself. If I like it, motherfucker, then you like it too. Even if you don't, you better shut up about it. Write it in your diary or something. But like I said, once it comes from your crusty lizard lips and hits the air, see, now I've heard it. And now we got a problem. We got a problem here. Yeah, I'm like, what black person? See, I could have went wild on him too and be like, what black person listens to fucking Beatles? You out your mind. You not really black. You just painted. I mean, I could have said all kinds of rude things, but I found it interesting that he was black, but we grew up way different. I mean, my family played James Brown and stuff like that. I grew up on that. My mother used to like Dinah Washington and George Benton or somebody and Johnny Mathis and all that. That's the kind of stuff I grew up hearing. And then, to go out with somebody who liked the Beatles, I was like, what? But I never talked about him, but he sure did try to talk about me. I thought that was interesting. So that didn't last too long. So then move on to number 12. They mock and insult you, especially when you're in public. Oh, they love to do that. And then when you get mad, then they say, oh, I was just making a joke. It was just a joke. You can't take a joke. That was just funny. I was just kidding around. So basically, they want to just, taunt you and insult you and provoke you and then tell you that you shouldn't get upset about it because it was just a joke. That's why I say you all got to be very careful. Stop trying to be so nice. With every man that you get with, notice whatever you could rag on him about. So if he pops out with some shit about this, you can fire back. He says something about you. Say, well, you don't need to be talking about nobody because your hairline is running away from you. Okay, you can't catch it. Something like that. What you all call them? Horseshoe hairline? Yeah, like all kind of stuff. You could say all kind of stuff, but you got to be ready. So you get yourself ready. So what bothers him, what he's sensitive about, his relatives, anything about him physically, his money ain't right, anything that you had got on him, make sure you use it. So as soon as he starts in on you, fire back, especially if it's in public. You break his ass off something. And so he'll know you ain't the one. Now, we ain't going to play this game. We're not even going to start this shit. So anytime you going to talk about me, motherfucker, be prepared to get dogged right back with a big smile because, after all, we are joking, right? Be ready. Be fucking ready. So y'all get ready, okay? Just fuck that nice and treating him with respect. When he ain't showing you none, you blow his fucking hair back. Blow it back, blow it off. Go for the jugular. Shut that shit down. Have all his friends laughing at him. Like, man, she told you. Had to do that to this dude I was there. He was nice and he was cool until this one day, and then that was the last day I saw him because he tried to clown me in front of all his friends. This motherfucker out there, we in Palo Alto, California. I don't know how many of y'all know that. That's hot as hell down there. It's like between here and San Jose. Hot, ho, ho. And it was like 100-something degrees this day. This fool want to go to the park and play frisbee with his friends. I took a book. I sat under the shady tree with a little ice, them little baby ice bucket things with my beers and stuff in it, and I'm just chilling. Now, I was with him, but I wasn't being out in that sun. It was still hot in the shade. And so he's like, "Oh, come out here and throw the frisbee." I'm like, no, I'm not getting out there doing that. He kept on saying, then he hits me with this. Even my little brother could throw the frisbee, like, this and that. And he had like all these white friends. It was about 10 of them out there flying this plastic disc around in that fucking heat. And then this fool gonna say to me, yeah, even my brother could, do it, this and that. His little brother was probably about 14 or so at the time. And I said, well, yeah, well, when they start having Olympics where you can win a medal for that shit, then I'll do it. Until then, I'm going to sit right here. And so his friends thought that was hilarious. And they was all laughing at him. Man, she told you. Ha, ha, ha. You know how white boys do. Oh, gosh, dude, she told you. Ha, ha, ha. And they was just dogging him, and I just was sitting there looking at him. I'm thinking, this is going to be the last time I see your ass. You are never going to try to humiliate me in front of a bunch of people. You trying to make yourself feel good and look like the big black dog in front, and you think you're going to insult your black woman in front of all these white folks, and you think that's the way to endear yourself to me? I waited till we got back to his house. I threw my shit in my bag, because usually I would spend every weekend with him. I threw my shit in my bag, and he's like, where are you going? I said, I'm leaving. I'm getting in my car. I'm leaving. Because, see, you don't know how to talk to me. And I am not going to be taking this disrespect. It's not going to happen. I got in my car, and that was the last time I saw him. He never heard, he called and called and called. I didn't pick up, caller ID. Ooh. I just ignored him. Pretty soon he got the message. Yeah, but, no. Because the guys, when he said that, they didn't laugh. They look like, ooh. Like, why did he say that? They had better sense than he did. But he's like, like it's so funny to try to humiliate me in front of this group of white boys. I'm like, oh, nigga, you done lost your mind. You must have forgot who you was dating. Leo women ain't taking that shit. It's not going. That's not going to happen. I'm out of here. So let's move on. Yeah, that mocking stuff, trying to belittle you and insult you, please. Number 13, financial disrespect. This is when you set financial goals as a couple and your partner violates them. You are save $10,000. He goes in the bank and buys himself some rims for his car for $8,500 and drains the bank account. Okay. He runs up huge debts on the credit cards. Um, he doesn't like you let your boyfriend move in. He don't pay no help pay no bills. You got to chase him down for money. He doesn't want to contribute anything. He feels like, well, you was already paying all the rent and everything before I came here, so why should I have to pay anything? Guys have actually said that to women. Um, they don't pay the child support. They don't pay their bills, so it ends up being on you. Especially if you married, you don't. He doesn't pay his child support. Guess who's paying it? In a community property state, they're going to tap your paycheck for his child support. Even back child support, it doesn't matter. Before you all got married, they still, because what you all got now is community property. They're going to levy wages. They're going to take your tax returns. All kind of stuff's going to happen because he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. Okay? So it's going to impact you financially. He won't go to work. A lot of these dudes will quit job after job after job, and the woman's working 2 jobs trying to make up the difference. No, you kick his bum butt out. You don't work 2 jobs. You say, look, we supposed to be working 1. You ain't working none. You want me to work 2? That's not going to happen. Get out. I don't care if you live in the park, under a tree, in a tent, under some newspapers. I don't care where you go. A park bench, that works too. But you ain't going to be here, not making no money, not contributing nothing. I'm not feeding your ass. You ain't living here. You ain't going to burn nary a light in this house. That's not going to happen. Sometimes they even steal money. They steal money out your purse. They will take your ATM card and, go and pull out money just, without your permission. I mean, we had a advice letter where a woman had that happen to her. He was taking $200 or $300 out of her account and had done it several times before she figured out what was going on. And then he had the nerve to get mad at her for jamming him up. Right? Some of them will take your stuff and they pawn it. Right? Or they spend your money on other women, your money. Because remember, he ain't contributing. He living off of you. Suddenly, he got the money to be taking some other broad out on your dime. Driving your car, too. So these are all things that you have to consider. The financial disrespect is a big one. You're letting men move into with your house and you ain't getting no money out of them. I wish I would. You moving in with me, you paying every bill in this bitch, and my money's going in my pocket. That ain't satisfactory to you, then you ain't moving in. You gonna stay over there where you are, and I'm gonna be right here. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm saying, if he's not making your life better, what's he need to be there for? He moving in, paying half. That's a roommate. If I wanted a roommate, I would rent out my spare room to some woman. I wouldn't be having no man. Supposed to be the quote provider. No. Let's talk about time disrespect. How many of these do I have? Okay, I got 2 more after this. I have 16 in total. And this is all I thought. I thought of these since 2 o'clock this afternoon. Time respect. He makes dates or tells you he's going to meet you somewhere at a certain time. And he either A, cancels at the last minute, or B, he doesn't show up until way late after he said, hours sometimes, after he said he was going to be there. Y'all made your date time. Or C, he doesn't show up at all. Just stands you up. No call, no nothing. Don't respond to your texts or your inquiries about where he is and what's going on. Nothing, just blows you off. And this is a thing, like you can tell if you have a date with somebody, your first date or 2 or 3, and dude is late, cut him. Because he's already showing you that he does not value the time that he's going to be spending with you. A man who values the time he's going to be spending with you will be early. He'll be like, I'm a little early. Is that okay? You want me to wait out here in my car? Can I come in and, sit there and wait for you, whatever. So that's up to you which one you want to do. He's going to call you from the restaurant or bar, wherever you all's going to meet. Oh, I got here a little early, but, I'll just have a drink and wait for you and stuff like that. That's a man who really wants to see you. You got some motherfucker dancing in 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours late, and you still there? I give motherfuckers a 10-minute window like a restaurant reservation. After 10 minutes, if you ain't there, I'm on about my business. Just like the restaurant, they get the table to somebody else, somebody who's there waiting, who really wants the table. So I'm like that too. I'm gonna give you all my time. You show up late, you just late. You're gonna be by yourself. Number 15, you can't trust him. It's the untrustworthy type of disrespect. These are women, y'all be doing this too. Because I've women, you have like, okay, you have a plan. You need him to do something for you, right? But you know he's flaky because you already got a taste of him being like, you can't depend on him. He don't really have your back. He's sometimey. That's another word that they use. Sometimes he does it and sometimes he don't. So what you do is you go and have plan B. Some of you have plan C, D, E, F, and G too. Because you have feel like you need this thing done. And in case he falls through, you have these other options in place. If you had a man who was worth anything, you would need plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, L, J, K, L, all that stuff. You wouldn't need all that. You would only need plan A because that motherfucker would be there, Johnny on the spot, because that's the man who loves you and who got your back. You need him to do something, he's there. You need him to get you something, he's got it. Okay, you don't have that kind of man, get rid of him. You wasting time. You got another kid. You got somebody you just wasting time with like that. I mean, what is that about? I wish I would waste that kind of time on somebody. I had one boyfriend like that. It's like he got something happened. I forgot. Oh, I was between jobs. When you first start a new job, you don't really get a paycheck for like a month. And so it was during that period of time I needed my phone bill paid. And I had enough for my rent and all that kind of stuff. But me, the sister had been out of work for a minute, so it was like, ooh, I'm going through my savings. This is not cute. So I didn't want to like totally drip dry up my account. So I asked him if he could pay my phone bill for me. It was only like, I don't know, $60, $70, Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Did he do it? I'm still waiting for him to pay that phone bill. Luckily I got my brother paid it, but my brother shouldn't have to pay it. You want to call yourself my man and you can't come through on a $60, $70 phone bill? I fired his fucking ass on the spot. Once the phone company sent me that last email, you got 24 hours, we going to turn your shit off. And I had to call my brother, and he was hot, but he paid it. But, he's like, I know you're going to get rid of him. I said, oh, it's already done. And so that was that. But I didn't feel like I should have to call my brother when I had a man. You know what I mean? But that's how that worked. And now the last one is you are not a priority to him. That is shown by how he blows you off. How everybody and everything else is more important to him to do, where he need to be, where he need to invest his time, his energy, his money, all that stuff is other people and other things other than you. And yet here you are calling him your man. You letting him live in your house. You sleeping with him. You having babies by him. You doing all kind of stuff that trying to make something happen here that should never have happened because he's not the one. He's not it. He ain't the one. If everything and everybody else comes before you, you always trying to force time with them. When we gonna see each other? I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's get together. Why don't you come over? All this kind of stuff. You begging. You begging and you chasing. That's so unattractive. It's desperate. And it's showing yourself to be a low value woman. Because a high value woman would never beg a man for his time. She's too important to have to do that. But see, if you behave in that way, you showing him that you don't respect yourself very much, and you can bet he's not going to respect you much either. He's only going to give you what you demand. That's how men are, unfortunately. Okay? So you sitting up there begging and pleading and chasing around and going to his house, and he calls you at midnight and you let him come over. He ain't taking you on no dates. You just... Because he done everything with everybody else all day. He didn't even have time to hardly talk to you. But here he comes over, he want to get his little Johnson wet. And you let him in. What are you communicating to this man? What are you communicating to yourself when you treat yourself that way? You need to stop. Okay? Ain't nobody that horny in this whole fucking world that you have to disrespect yourself like that and just lay up there and be somebody's like dumpster. You don't do that. Stop thinking that this is a meaningful situation or, I'm getting my swerve on, this and that. No, you're not. When you get your swerve on, you choose the man that you want. You don't let somebody choose you at midnight. So you deluding yourself if that's what you think that you're doing. I'm being an independent woman. I'm doing, that's not how you do things. That's not even a fuck boy. She the one who's the fuck girl. Okay, just making herself available for somebody to come through just whenever he wants to. That's not how you conduct yourself. If you want to be, somebody asked me to cover that on a Sunday sermon, and I will, but I guess this is kind of an introduction. You want to perceive your people to perceive you as a high value woman. It starts with you. Okay, you don't perceive yourself as one. Please tell me how you think somebody else is going to be wasting their time. It doesn't work like that. So, if you have some interest, you can read the article I have on surviving dating called Relationships of Convenience. It totally breaks down what this kind of relationship is, this situationship that you all want to try to make into a relationship. It's not. Oh, of course, I'm right about everything. That's one thing, like I said, everything that I say on this channel is designed to promote your self-improvement, your betterment, higher self-esteem, higher confidence, conducting yourself in a way that commands respect from other people. That makes you a better woman. Every word that comes out of my mouth, that is the purpose of it. You think I do this shit? I mean, it's nice that you guys, do the little super chats, and I have some Patreon subscribers and stuff. But this is not like, those channels where they be making like thousands of dollars a month. It ain't like that around here. But I put my heart and soul into these videos for you guys because I feel like this is what I'm here on this planet to do. This is why I'm here in this lifetime for you. Okay, because I firmly believe that everything that we do is supposed to be for the betterment of mankind in some way, shape, or form. That's my, I'm not a religious person. That's my spiritual belief that we are here to connect with other humans and to make the lives of other people and this planet, the lives of the animals and the planet itself better. Anybody who's not living with that focus is living in a way that's going to destroy. So you're either improving, building, and making better, or you're destroying. So it could be you're just destroying yourself. Okay. Yeah. Well, and it's unfortunate. A lot of people have never, their mothers didn't talk to them that way. They didn't have anybody to tell them these kind of things. And they're learning it now in their 20s, 30s, and even older than that on this channel for the first time to tell you that, I don't use that, you're a child of God, all that kind of stuff. But, you are an important being. You're here for a reason. You are here for a reason. What is that reason? Figure it out and then start working on your path. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And like I said, somewhere in your mind, there's going to be a path that you're supposed to be walking that's going to be making the lives of other people better. Figure out what that is. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You might be a teacher making thousands of kids' lives better because you're educating them. I don't know. It could be something that we don't even really think of, but every single thing that we do should have a point and a focus and a reason to make something better, to improve something, to leave it better than we found it. Okay, and if you have somebody in your life that's not doing that for you and that's pulling you down and trying to destroy you, you cut bait. You leave it alone. And it doesn't have anything to do with me not wanting you to be in a relationship. I have to reiterate that. It's not that. I want you to be in a situation that's healthy and beneficial and that brings you joy and happiness and enriches you. It makes you feel good to wake up in the morning. You see that man's face. You're excited. You're happy. He loves you. You love him back. That's what I want for you. I don't want you to be in these relationships and these advice letters that we get all the time up in here. These things are sick. These relationships are sick and twisted. Okay? So you got to remember when a man tells you, when you got one of these abusive types of dudes and he tells you, oh, you don't respect me. You know what he really means? That you're not letting him control you. That's what he means. So when those kind of people want their, quote, respect is tied to you being obedient and subservient, submissive, and just basically doing what he tells you to do with no questions asked. You got that kind of man, he's not respecting you. I saw my name tapped up there. Yeah, you guys, come on now. Yeah, stop settling. Thank you, Sean Q. Little shiny coming through. That's exactly it. It's, don't settle. Don't settle. You're worth more than that. And I know a lot of women struggle with that because they're like, oh, I don't want to be alone. I'm going to be by myself. Why is that so bad? I'm really trying to figure out if you don't like being by yourself, a man's not going to fix that. All they bring is drama and problems. There might be some drama and problems that you all could fix with some conversations, but there's going to be some drama and problems. That's just the way that it is. That's just the reality. No matter how fabulous of a guy he is, there's always, there's going to be some bumps here and there. It ain't never smooth thing. That's a fantasy to think you're never going to have a problem in your relationship. The deal is, how do you all get over it? How do you talk about it? How do you resolve these issues? And then what do you do about it? How do you move on? That's the key to a successful relationship. So let me give you a couple of more examples. I skipped over. I was giving all them examples of the behavior types, and I forgot to read my little letters. Okay, number 13, which is financial disrespect. Let's check this out. My husband earns good money, but he spends constantly, spontaneously, unwisely. I've just started a consulting contract, and my work has been on and off over the last 8 years. I'm paid irregularly. We are in debt. Credit card, 15,000 euros. We have a second loan, mortgage, and overdraft account. I keep trying to persuade him to budget and live within our means, but he will not accept my suggestions. He wants things to be like spend less on food. We have a hugely expensive car and mortgage, but a very good mortgage rate and a nice house. He wants to take a mortgage holiday to temporarily ease our debt, but I think this is just postponing the inevitable. He's critical of me and the fact that as a consultant, I only have one client at the moment. Would take more if I could get them. Did he forget that it's Rona out here and that it's hard to get work? When I explain I'm trying but can't, he tells me that I'm being a victim. I feel that after 15 years of marriage, he can't see that we need to economize. He never will. I do not see the point of expensive cars and things that lose value, but I have enjoyed having a house we can invite friends and family to stay, and I see it as an asset for when we get older. That's right. It's a good investment. The thing is, I cannot see myself being able to take the constant harassment over money. It's been like this since I met him. He acts like he's entitled to spend what he wants. Always. I plan our meals and spend about 100 euros a week on food. Then he will go on and spend another 150 or more on expensive ingredients and wine. He does not accept budgeting as an answer, but for me to earn more. We have a 12-year-old son who's very happy at his school and with his friends. I don't want to destroy his life, but I feel the situation becoming intolerable for me. This powerlessness is making me very unhappy, and I don't see him changing. See, so that's, she's being shown financial disrespect. What would I do in a situation? I would close all the credit cards. I would take money, any money that I make, and I would put it in a separate account. He wouldn't be able to touch it. And I'd be like, you need to pay all the mortgage, and you need to step up and do all these other things since you like to spend so much. I would sell that bitch ass car and buy a Honda. That's what I would do. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know what in UK. I don't know what kind of cars they consider cheap over there, but over here, of course, it's, well, actually, Hondas aren't as cheap as they used to be. Shit, them things, I was going to give me a new car. I was looking at $26,000. I was like, wait, what? And that's even before you add all the stuff on there. I'm like, oh, no. I'm cheap. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying more than 19 grand at the top for a car, and that's including interest. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I'll get a car a couple of years old. But, I had this fantasy that I was going to be driving me a new car off the lot. I quickly tanked that dream because I don't want to spend that kind of money. I went and looked at them. They was beautiful, though. Oof, I love Hondas. I'm like on my sixth one now. Okay, now let's look at number 14, the time disrespect. This letter was a trip. This guy's a teacher, and he's teaching at home over Zoom, right? His wife comes into the room and does stuff while he's on with his lessons. Okay, he says the first time she interrupted, she abruptly opened the door to the room where I was teaching and loudly asked me to do the dishes. This was unbelievably awkward. I was in the middle of teaching 36 10th graders geometry. I told her we would talk about it later, but she was not deterred. She demanded a yes or no. I said it was a yes, but I was in the middle of a lesson. Without a word, she closed the door. I got some chuckles from the students, but a bit of red cheek embarrassment with the extent of it. The next time, 2 days later, she barged in holding a pair of my pants that I left on the floor in the bedroom and loudly stated, "You need to pick up after yourself." This time, before responding, I muted my mic and turned off my camera, telling her I was in the middle of a lesson. She walked away without a word. So then I moved my setup to the basement. Since the basement looks like it could have some few dead bodies in it, my students have begun calling me basement dad. I started locking the door to prevent interruptions. My wife will begin by rattling the door, followed by pounding on it. Then she'll groan loudly and say something negative about me. After that, I can hear her walking around the house slamming doors. A few weeks ago, she was literally jumping up and down, stomping her feet in the room above where I was teaching. In the first few months of these online lessons, I set up a hotkey to mute my mic and disable my camera instantly when I need it. Luckily, my reflexes honed from Counter-Strike in my teens have paid off. But there have been times when she has sneaked in an embarrassing moment. Okay, his letter goes on, and basically what she's doing is sabotaging his respect and trying to undermine his authority with his students. And he's told her time and time again, he really has no place to go. He's teaching, the students, he can't really go anywhere. Where's he going to do it at Starbucks? So it creates a very interesting dilemma for this guy. And this is somebody who is disrespecting his time. Disrespecting his professional career could get him fired. You know what I mean? But she don't give a shit. All she cares about is whatever it is she want to talk about, which is some pants on the floor, which is stupid. That could wait. You know what I mean? So she's showing her husband marked disrespect. And then my last one, number 16. Shoot, let me see my long ass list of things here. Where did I put it? Oh, well, you're not a priority. I don't have so many different pieces of paper. Okay, this girl was in an off and on relationship. She's 22, the dude's 25. She says, in 2018, I ended up pregnant. So she changed her lifestyle and she tried to get him into rehab, focus on a real job. He would mostly DJ at small gigs and to finish school. He's been at a community college for almost 10 years trying to get his IT degree. 10 years? So I was ready for us to get together and raise a baby. So then he denied it was his baby. He started taking more drugs. And at 6, so right before the due date, we go to a park where they're playing music. Some girl showed up. It turns out he was dating a girl, sleeping with the girl, and all of this. So she goes into the hospital. She has the baby. He's not there. He was DJing or something and just getting high. His mom and dad are come to the hospital. They make him go. And so finally, near the end of all of this, he denied it was his. They had to get a DNA test. And it says he's the father. So now he wants to be, in the kid's life and everything. And I'm looking at her and she's like, I'm emotionally traumatized. I have moments where I'm in love with him, but he always manages to mess it up. Okay, and if I were her mom, I would be beating her ass right now because I'd be like, okay, this was off and on. There's nothing about the situation that's stable. He's a drug head, a loser because he's been in community college for 10 years and still don't have nothing to show for it. Gets high all the time and is just stupid, just a fuck up. And you choose this to be the father of your child and then you wonder why your life is all screwed up. You see what I mean? Poor choices. This guy is just nothing, trash. And yet she decides to have a baby by him. When you got pregnant, girlfriend, the thing you were supposed to do was head to the nearest abortion clinic. That's what you were supposed to do. Now you're going to have a kid in a fucked up situation whose genes have been doused in who knows what kind of drugs. And the kid's going to have all kind of problems. And you all did that. Two stupid young people too dumb to use birth control. Or to fix it with an abortion when the birth control failed. I don't get it either. And then she's going to be whining for the next. Oh, he's a poor father. You think? He didn't show you no signs of being a decent human being way before that. You didn't have no kind of solid relationship. What the fuck were you doing? So see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. When you present yourself as low value because she stayed in this relationship with a loser, no count, piece of shit dude. And then you wonder why he doesn't treat you well. It's not in him to treat nobody well. He doesn't even treat himself well. Because if he did, he wouldn't be doing street drugs. Okay? Some people douse their bodies with drugs. They don't care about themselves. So how can you think they're going to care about you? You treat your body as a temple that it is to carry you healthily through life to old age. When you don't treat it well, this is he's gonna die or have kidney failure or something in his 40s. He's not gonna be living too long living this lifestyle. So I really want you guys to understand about respect. I know this video was long. There's a lot of information given to you here. Like I said, feel free to go back and listen to it a second time. Listen to the points that vibe with you, that may remind you of some behaviors that you've exhibited towards yourself or some disrespect that you have accepted. What I want you to do is, if you recognize yourself there, I want you to think about why you did that, why you let that happen, why you allowed yourself to be treated this way. What is it that you thought you were doing that was going to be beneficial to yourself? You got to start looking at the what's in it for me type of thing, the way that I, expressed in that 3-video series. What's in it for me? When you're in a situation where a man is talking to you like this and treating you like this, what's in it for you? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you let him do that to you? So you have a lot of, you're going to have some hard homework to do. But the only way to get through mistreating yourself and devaluing yourself, ladies, you got to do the work. I know it's hard. I know it's hurtful. A lot of you might cry and shed tears, and beat yourself up. No, how can I have been so stupid as that? Don't do that to yourself. Okay, you can only do the best that you can do with the information and the tools that you have at that time. Okay, that was then. This is now. So you're going to look at choices you made in the past, figure out why you did and what was wrong. And then if that's something that's still bothering you, you got to work to correct it in the here and now, so you don't do that in the future. Okay? Past, future, two completely different things. So don't beat yourself up too much, But one thing you want to do, don't be like my grandfather. He said, one time is a mistake. If you do it twice, it's a habit. Okay? So you have a habit of choosing men that just dog you out and disrespect you. That is a problem. And, sometimes we got to we need some help, get in some group for that, talk that out and figure out, what you can do to turn that around. Like I said, everything on this channel is about making you a better person, a better woman, stronger, more focused, more determined, living your life to the best of your capability, using all the talents and all the abilities and all the intellect and the wonderful feelings you have, using them to your advantage and for the betterment of your family, your children, your family, and yourself. Okay? If you have any questions about anything that I've said here, be sure to post them on the wall under the video. That we do not do advice questions there, though. But, you have questions about what I said here, post it under the video. If you want to submit an advice question for an upcoming show, look in the show description down below, or up at the top, there's like a little green button up there that says get advice on the YouTube page. You can click that. They take you to the same form, and then you submit that, and I will, well, not me, but my cousin will put it in the advice column if she chooses, and then I, at that point during the show, will read your question and give you an answer. But I hope you guys enjoyed this pop-up. I think this is really beneficial for you. I want to, everybody who's new tonight, welcome you to the channel. Thank you for sitting in with me. I appreciate your support. Please hit that subscribe button on your way out, and definitely hit the like. And come through on Tuesday for What the Fuck Tuesday relationship advice. I will see you all then. You guys have a great 3-day weekend, okay? Don't eat too much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.